So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Jacob Edwards Library. We are so thrilled this evening to have international performer Larget-Caplan here from the Boston area to play for us this evening in Southbridge. We will have a program which Erin will introduce each number as we go along, and for people watching at home, we will have the program on the screen. It's an ambitious program, and we've already delayed our start time so that we could all chit-chat for a few minutes, which was very nice, and it's lovely to see everybody here. But we should get underway because Erin has a full program this evening. And thanks to the Southbridge Cultural Council and the Massachusetts Cultural Council, we have this presentation. It's always wonderful to have partnerships with these sponsors who make something like this possible, to have somebody of Erin's eminence here, as he has an international pedigree, so to speak. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Larget-Caplan for...
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back in Southbridge, and thank you, Margaret, and the cultural councils for inviting me. It's been an interesting couple of years, to say the least. This is the first public in-person inside concert I've done since COVID started. So I figured I would choose, like I always do, some difficult music. And but it's a mix of dances, some lullabies and preludes, and selections from my latest album, A Guitar Holiday. Sadly, A Guitar Holiday is sitting on my table at home, so I don't have any copies with me. It is mainly a streaming album, and it's had over 100,000 streams in the last 3 weeks, so apparently it's good, which is awesome. And but I do have some albums here and some scores, and we'll begin. So this is a Tango by Rolen Dyens, a French Tunisian, and a nice celebration of life. I thought we should begin with. 2007, I was still living in Southbridge, or 6 actually, just before I left. I started a project called the New Lullaby Project, where I started asking composers to write brief 3 to 5 minute solos in the genre of a lullaby, hence New Lullaby. And I put out an album called New Lullaby in 2010, and I thought that was the end of it, and then composers kept sending me more music. And so one of my COVID projects was recording more of them, so I released a second volume last November, November 2020, and then the third volume came out in August this year. So, and people keep sending me more lullabies. So I've premiered 65, and today you get to hear 66 and 67. Yes, you are very courageous people. Thank you for listening. So the first one is called Berceuse, Inquiète. It's French for an anxious lullaby. And it's by Ronald Pearl. He is a composer who now lives in Providence, Rhode Island. He was in Baltimore for many decades. He's a guitarist. And it's a piece. So this is Berceuse, Inquiète. Oh, he did write. He envisioned a kind of a music box and the tensions of the evening happening. And so you'll hear parts of that with little interjections, but that's all I'm going to say. That was Berceuse Inquiète by Ronald Pearl.
The harmonics were interesting.
It's an interesting. All of these are very. It's new for me. I've had the music for about 2 months, and what I do tomorrow because of today, this experience will be. It'll have a different experience for me. It'll feel different, and now it's alive. And now I have to learn who it is. So thank you for being a part of that. This is called Lull-a-by-the-sea by Tom Nazziola. Tom is a composer in New York. He's actually a Grammy-nominated composer. We found out about 10 days ago. So congratulations and fingers crossed. Not for this piece, but for another work. This is a piece, he had actually played guitar, and he just loves the instrument. Though he doesn't consider himself a guitarist. And so this is his lullaby. Lull-a-by-the-sea. So if you do fall asleep, it's success. So I won't take it personally, just don't snore. The next lullaby is called Blue Lullaby. It's the last one on the program, and it is written by John Johstone. John is a guitarist living in Portland, Maine, teaches in Brunswick at Bowdoin College, and the piece was originally written quite a few years ago for me, and I premiered it in the spring online, so this is the in-person premiere, and it's just a lovely piece. It makes me feel blue, but not blue like not down. It's just like blue, kind of like the Maine, like when you see the sun going down on the coast, and there's that hue. That's the one I envision. That's the blue for me. So this is Blue Lullaby by John Johstone. That was 3 lullabies, Berceuse, Inquiète, Lull-a-by-the-sea, and Blue Lullaby. And yeah, they'll be on the next album, which I'll be recording starting later this month. So there we go. Let's do a Bach prelude, yes. That was Prelude 1 and Prelude 3 from the Well-Tempered Clavier, originally written for piano. And they're not often played on guitar because they're a bit hard, but they're a lot of fun. And I'll be doing a set of 12. And so next time we can do a set of 12. That would be, yeah, I might need some like Novocaine or something. So this next piece is called Tracing a Wheel on Water, and it's written by Kevin Siegfried. This is actually a piece that's the title track of my debut CD that actually I celebrated across the river in Southbridge at one of the performance spaces. And this piece was written as a kind of gift from Kevin. He had never written for guitar, which is sad. And so I said, why don't you write me a dance? And he was living on an ocean inlet outside of Kittery, Maine. And he noticed that when the tides would move, as the tides moved, his family's dynamic changed. And so they started changing their life unconsciously around the tides. And it just had this beautiful effect on them. And so he said, well, instead of a dance, I'm going to write more of almost a meditation. And that's how Tracing a Wheel on Water came about. And it's one of my favorite pieces to play, and it does require that one string either be tuned up, or I put a capo that pushes one note down. So it's kind of odd. You don't see this very often, but we do what is necessary for the music. That's just what we do, no matter how many nights we don't sleep. So this is Tracing a Wheel on Water by Kevin Siegfried. So in September, I recorded an album called A Guitar Holiday. And this came out in November, last month. And it is only about a 25-minute album, but it's my first, I guess you could say, popular music album. And it's been a lot of fun to find music and arrangements that I could do what I wanted to do to the music and connect it and not just sound like Muzak as if you were visiting Staples. Though if Staples would like to play it, they are most welcome. So I thought I'd play you 2 or 3 pieces from the album. And the first one I'll play you is O Come, Emmannuel, which is a medieval chant that has been harmonized and played with. Let's do the First Noel. This is an English, traditional English carol. And this one called Greensleeves. And you might have heard it, and it's one of my favorites, so I thought I'd play it for you. I think we have time for two more pieces. So I thought we'd jump to Spain because that's the guitar and it sounds really good, the music. So this is España Cañí. It's a paso doble. This is the music that would be played when the bull would enter the bull ring. Ironically, this was not written for guitar. This was actually written for orchestra. And this is, it sounds good on the guitar, and so I made a little arrangement of it, and this is España Cañí. thought I would play another Spanish piece. This is called Panaderos Flamencos, and it gets its name, panaderia, is the bakery, the bread maker. And people would come and travel, and they would stay at the inn, and they would share music. Can you imagine that? Like being somewhere and sharing music. And so they would play music until the wee hours of the morning when you would smell the bread from the panaderia. Hence, it got its name, Panaderos. So, huge thank you to the Southbridge Cultural Council, Massachusetts Cultural Council, the Jacob Edwards Library, the amazing director of that library, Margaret Morrissey, without whom this would not happen, I can promise you. So, be very grateful to her, bring her chocolate on occasion, or advocate for more arts and the library and whatever we can do. And happy to answer any questions you might have about the program afterwards. And thank you so much, and happy holidays. And if you do want a guitar holiday, I can send it to you. I apologize. So anyway, I'll think about that at 2 in the morning. So. Thank you so much.